Missouri. So I made a short on the Danial Penny case, and I wanted to go a little bit more in depth in it because it's a case that really kind of bugs me. And the reason it bugs me is because we have a crime epidemic in this country, and it always seems like a lot of these DAs are siding with criminals rather than with victims or with people who finally stand up and try and do some good for our communities. So I'm sure you've heard by now, but I'll just give a quick rundown. Danial Penny was a former Marine, and he was riding the subway one day with some friends, and a homeless guy, someone who looked pretty strung out, got on the train and started making a lot of erratic threats, talking about things like, I'm not going back to prison, you're going to have to kill me, things like that, threatening people. So Danial Penny finally had enough and basically wanted to subdue this guy until they can get the cops there. Because I guess there aren't a lot of cops on the subway. But I don't know. I've never ridden the subway. I've never been to New York City. I don't know how it works. So pardon my ignorance in any of that. So he puts this guy in a chokehold, UFC style, chokes him out. The guy's still breathing when the cops get there and all that, and then he ends up dying later. The pathologist that testified for Danial Penny said that the reason why the guy died was because he had a blood condition and he also was using synthetic marijuana. So he puts this guy in a chokehold and the guy ends up dying. And so the police officers take him into custody, and he feels like he hasn't done anything wrong, so he doesn't feel like he needs a lawyer, which you would think that if you have done nothing wrong, you wouldn't need a lawyer. But anytime you're picked up or asked for questioning or anything like that, it doesn't matter. Get a lawyer up whenever you're speaking with the police. It's just, you have to watch out for yourself. You have to watch out for your rights now. Anyways, he waived his, and that was a big mistake on his part. And so they have basically used his words, turned him, twisted him, and all that, and used him against him. So now, our good friend, Alvin Bragg, if you don't remember who that is, he's the one who first indicted Trump on the Stormy Daniels case. It just kind of looks like Alvin Bragg sees this kid as kind of representing conservative America, because that's really what it seems like. He's a Marine, he loves his country, he's a relatively clean-cut guy, and Alvin Bragg is trying to throw him in jail for 15 years because of this, when the guy was basically protecting those people on the train because there wasn't anyone else there to do it. He stood up to someone who was bullying people around, who was threatening people's lives, who was acting crazy, and he took him down. And he wasn't trying to kill him. He was basically just trying to subdue him until a police could get there to help. It's unfortunate the guy died, but it sounds like he had a blood condition or whatever. And you know what? When you're out there and you're making threats and talking about how you're never going back to prison and you're going to kill people, during the trial, witnesses that were testifying for Penny were talking about how they had been riding the subways all their lives and they haven't felt this threatened before. This guy was crazy. This guy was scary. And so Danial Penny took care of him. And I guess that's what Alvin Bragg wants to do now. He wants to protect the people who break the laws, and he wants to go after the people who try to help, try to be good citizens, try to protect people, try to stand up. Alvin Bragg is a coward, and Danial Penny is a hero. And it's as simple as that. And now, hopefully, closing arguments are tomorrow, closing arguments are Monday. Hopefully, a jury agrees that Danial Penny shouldn't spend a day in jail. A day in jail. It's unfortunate this guy died, but at the same time, when you're acting like that and you're threatening people and someone decides to put you down, not lethally, just subdue you and then let the cops take care of it, and something happens, I mean, that's kind of on you. Maybe you shouldn't be threatening people on the subway. So, I mean, Alvin Bragg wants to protect criminals as much as he can, and it's biting him in the butt. 2 weeks ago, one of his assistants, or one of the people that works in his office, their apartment was robbed while they were there by someone who was not here legally. They get robbed. Luckily, they didn't get assaulted. And then right before the robber leaves, he decides to flash the lady. Give her a show. That's basically Alvin Bragg. That's his justice. Standing up for the criminals. Going after conservatives. Going after people who are going to stand up to what's wrong. We're going to stand up for what's right. So, Alvin Bragg is... Man, I hope that they decide to get rid of him whenever he's elected or whenever. So, those are my thoughts on the case. Today is Sunday the 1st, and I think that there's going to be closing arguments tomorrow. I don't know if they're slated to go into Tuesday, and then jury instructions and jury deliberation. And hopefully, they come back as not guilty. So, I'll catch you guys all later.